day I've been able to understand myself and grow into myself. I've been consciously moving towards something greater. Simple as that. I was reading Steve Harvey's book, Straight Talk, No Chaser, I think it is. I don't drink, so I think that means like no, chaser after this, the straight drink that you drink, and How to Get and Keep a Man, I think it is. And I wasn't necessarily reading it to figure out a way to maybe get a man. I was kind of reading it because I really wanted to see how he's been on the bestsellers book. He was, New York Times bestseller. So I really wanted to see if what he was, because he was in all these different shows and interviews. So I really wanted to see if the book was all as cracked up to be, kind of thing. And I got that book because I didn't know he had a book prior. So I was like, okay, let me look at this book and check it out. So far, I'm loving it. Actually, it's a really good book, and it's very funny. And if you like Steve Harvey's comedy, you would like watching. I mean, you would like reading this. Okay, so the I've read the book, right? And the thing that stuck out in my mind was this time when he was talking to his mom and he wanted a brand new car. And his other car was on the cinder blocks. And people who read this know what I'm talking about. His old car was on the cinder blocks. And he told his mom several times, Mom, I'm saving up to get a new car. I'm so close. I'm gonna get a new car, kind of thing. And she was like, your other car is on the cinder blocks, outside in the parking lot in front of our yard, collecting dust on the cinder blocks. And then he said it several times when Mom trying to get a new car. She said, well, your old car is out there in our driveway on the cinder blocks. So I think he said he finally asked his mom what was the reason why she kept on, saying this to him. And she was like, honey, you want something, but you still got your old mess sitting right there and it's collecting dust. Move it out the way, get out the way, and get ready for the new thing that you're working for, right? So it just hit me because this is a lot of stuff that a lot of people have already gone through, and this is like not an epiphany to you guys, and it's really not an epiphany to me. But I think I was so silly and young that I never cared about any epiphany, or I never cared about anything happening that was enlightening, I guess you can say. Like, okay, this is an enlightening experience. All right, whatever. I'm young. I still have a lot of time to live. Whatever it is. And it, basically the quote was, if you ask God for something, get ready for it, kind of thing, right? And I'm not giving the exact quote, forgive me, but it basically was like, you ask God for something, you need to prepare, you need to prepare yourself to receive what you're asking. And I'm like, hello, like it's kind of like duh moment, like, because you would think that after so many years of being on this earth that you would just know this naturally. And some people have this knack naturally, but truthfully, I don't know why, but I've had to work at this a lot. Um, and I'm just thinking about things in my life where I've took steps in my life, and it wasn't until I said, you know what, I made up my mind, this is going to happen, this is the way it's going to be, I'm not going to settle for anything less. I know when I got into the school I'm at now, this natural health school, I was thinking to myself, this is the only school I'm going to go to. It's going to have to work. If it doesn't work, this is my only option. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, I'm gonna get in because this is my only option. I don't want anything else. This is what my mind's on. So I thought about that, and I was like, if I was that way with a lot of other things in my life, a lot of things would be a lot easier. I remember when excuse me. I remember when I got a job, and I was like, that person's gonna call me back. They always say they're looking for under candidates and they're looking for other qualified people, but I'm highly qualified for this position, if not more qualified, and you're going to call me back. back. You know, I'm not saying that, but that's how when you answer questions, you're answering questions like you already got the job. And chances are, if you are confident that you're going to get the job, half of the time you're going to get the job. I don't know if anybody of you have ever seen that. But the whole thing is, I'm talking about just getting rid of like that old way of thinking, because the things that you think subconsciously sometimes come out through your tongue. And we say life and death is in the power of the tongue. And we also say asking it shall be given, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be open to you. And the answers of the Lord is yea and amen, all these different things. But it's like, if you don't believe it when you're talking to the Lord, or when you're just sitting there praying, or when you're sitting there meditating, or when you're sitting there thinking to yourself, if you're not going to believe that you're going to receive what you're seeking for, there's no point in asking. That's just point blank, period. There's no point in asking something if your heart and your mind are not on one accord and feel that this thing that you want in your life is not going to happen. Because you'll figure out, and I don't know if people have seen this when they interact with certain people. I have seen that subconsciously a lot of us do things that harm us just because we haven't gotten over something in our past, or because we haven't dealt with some things in our life, or there's been something there that has maybe stunted our growth a little bit, or stunted that determination, that perseverance that we used to have. And the best thing to figure out how to move to the next level, and how to be in a situation, and how to feel like you're worth it and you are worthy, and worthy, same thing. How to have high self-esteem or confidence when you walk into a boardroom, or to be a surgical nurse and know that when you put the instruments in your hand, or assist in surgery or whatever it is, or you're on your own, you know what you're doing. Or if you're a doctor, know that that person's life is in your hands, but you're confident you know how to do it because you have gotten education and you have gotten the skills and the experience to do what you say, what your title says you're supposed to do. With lawyers, that's the same thing. With paralegals, that's the same thing. With waitresses, when I go to a restaurant, I want to be treated like you know what you're doing. It's the same thing from the smallest occupation, and I'm not saying anything in occupation small, because we need all occupations, but let's just say smallest occupation to the greatest. And I'm not saying which one's the smallest, I'm not saying which one's the greatest, but from waitressing to doctor to lawyer to entrepreneurs to nurses to professionals in every area necessary, to people who book traveling, people who are traveling agents. All these things matter, because that whoever you're dealing with is putting a confidence in you that you know what you're doing. Accounting, do you want to put your confidence in an accountant who maybe has the experience but is not focusing? They're too scared to put their experience to action. Sometimes our fear is the one thing that's stopping us from doing the things in life that we want to do. And I've noticed this in my life, and I've noticed it in other people's life. A lot of times we're afraid of moving to that next level. We're afraid of pursuing things, and we're also afraid of failure. And a lot of times we're afraid of looking like failures. It has nothing to do with just maybe even being a failure. It has the feeling of looking like a failure. Like, I have a fear of looking like a failure too, just like the next person. But you have to pick up and say, you know what, that one didn't work out as well. But if you feel that whatever is meant for you, keep at it. I keep at it every day. And so I just want to talk about, not necessarily about a New Year's resolution, but just about day-to-day things, about understanding that a lot of our times we don't have to wait to the new year to get rid of things in our lives that are not worthy enough to be in our presence. That's not to be cocky. That's not to be extra confident. Same thing, confident, cocky. I mean, one's a little bit more, puffed out than the other, but it's the same thing. You don't These things in your life don't have to be there if you don't want them there. And if you don't want them there, then why are they there? And if you're asking God for things, or you're asking things to come into your life, into your existence, that you know is for your well-being, then why are you holding on to things that's not for your well-being? So I say, coming into this new year, and I'm going to take this as a lesson for myself. Get ready for whatever is in store for you. Get ready for whatever in your life that you feel that is going to lead you to the success that you want, or the dream, or the goal, whatever you call it, that's going to lead you to that. I see a lot of people on YouTube who have a dream board, and maybe I'll show that one time, my dream board. I might show that one time. But I do have my own little dream board, and I keep it to myself because I want people to see me and not look at my stuff and my timeline. And when things are matching my timeline, that might be something I have to work on. When things are matching my timeline, for them to be like, oh, you're not getting done fast enough. I want to move and shake, and I want you to see me moving. That's all it is. And if I fail, I fail, But I know in my head that this is what I want in life, what I'm pursuing, and I'm going to keep on pursuing it till my wheels fall off. So you guys have a happy new year. Happy birthday again to all the ones who have a birthday today. And